Sorry about that. Okay, let's play the music. Hello and welcome. I just decided to just start, I guess. Hope that's okay. Oh, can I hear myself? Hello. Ugh. I wish I hadn't done that at the beginning of the show. But yes, I actually am on time. I thought I would be late, but I am not. So that's kind of cool. Kind of neat. But first I wanted to say hello, Purple Goop, Cornbread, Taco Master, Classic Cameron, Ramsey the Artist, Nathaniel Foga, Cornbread, Purple Goop. I said Purple Goop. Austin. Hello. My voice is being a little weird. Hold on, let me take a drink of water before I take down the... Okay, sorry. Oh, hello, Dylan Butler, K-Master, and Jordan Salafalo. How are you? Okay, let us switch over. Hello, welcome to Movie Crap Live. This is... Oh yeah, I got a haircut. You can see. I thought it was going to be braider. Oh well, maybe I'll fix that in a minute. But... For cornbread? Did I say cornbread 4 times? Did I send the tweet? I did send the tweet. Okay. Did I say it 4 times? Anyway. Hello, Sinram Pup. Pup, Sinram, Dylan Butler. I think I said everyone. I think I said hello. Super Dusky. Everybody is here. Welcome to the show. We got a pretty, like a regular full show again. A full of stuff show, even though it is very hot. It's a heat wave, but I think we can cool this down. Sorry my voice is being a little weird. I was feeling it being weird, and now that I'm talking, I'm a little like, oh, didn't realize that. But anyway, hello Dan, how's it going? All right, what's been going on? Nothing too much, obviously. I got the haircut, beard trimmed, if you didn't notice. I don't think there's even I don't know when the first video. I guess this is the first video with my new haircut, I guess. For crusty. Why? Did I say cornbread 4 times? I am so lost. Anyway, Chan talks more movies. Hello. I forget what I'm talking about. Anyway, are you seeing Lion King? Oh, cool. Yeah, what's been going on? Oh, I got the haircut thing. I did get to go to Howard Beckerman's funeral. That was emotional, but I'm glad I went. Ultimately, I don't think anyone expected. It took a while to get there, but I don't think anyone expected me. But I'm glad I went to that. Hello, Ace the Wind Rider. Also, I'm trying to think. Oh, I watched Spider-Verse, the first one with my son. We had like a father-son movie night, and that was cool. It was still a good movie. I actually used the Blu-ray player, which I don't get to do like that much, unfortunately, but that was cool. And we watched School of Rock tonight, like right before the show, which was also always really good. I've just been watching a lot of MeTV Tunes. No, it's okay. You're cool, Cornbread. We have been watching a lot of MeTV Tunes. I learned this, that apparently Jerry Beck writes all of the cartoon college shorts. So if you're like, who writes those? Apparently they're all written by Jerry Beck. I knew he was involved, but I didn't know he wrote all of them. But that's what I was told by a pretty good source. So, oh, Dan, you never seen Lion King on the big screen? I guess you're like, yeah. It has been re-released a lot, but I guess It did have that really successful 3D re-release, and I thought when they did that, oh, they'll re-release all of the Renaissance, and then they just like didn't. Remember, like 3D re-releases were a thing, and like Phantom Menace did okay, and everything like that, and then they like just stopped it. And apparently, I think Blast Points, which is I think the best Star Wars podcast, if you ask me. It's really, if you want to get into like really dorky Star Wars shit about two dudes who like just love all of that stuff, and it's like they did a whole thing on the QVC Star Wars specials, or how when they made an IMAX version of Attack of the Clones, they had to cut scenes out, and like what scenes they like, they're like my kind of dork Star Wars. And yeah, I think they did a thing on like how right before Disney bought Star Wars, Phantom Menace I think came out in 2012, and then 2012 their plan was to re-release all six, because there are only six then, movies in 3D, like one a year or something. And I don't even know if Attack of the Clones got a release date. I forget. There's probably something on this, but wait, Matrix had a 3D re-release? I do not remember that at all. I do not. I actually don't get why Disney doesn't do re-releases, because that's like, I think when I did the 1988 video series about how 1988 is like this pivotal animation year, check them out. They're like deep folk. Anyway, I talked about how in the 80s, like the main thing they made box office money on was re-releases. So I do find it odd, because when I grew up, like, your parents would be like, oh, Snow White's in theaters, let's go, or something like that. And like I don't know, I think like if they had like any of the original, like if it was Snow White or Bambi, or I don't know if I could do, Pinocchio's intense, but anyway. No, I know Attack of the Clones wasn't re-released. I'm just saying, like, was there a release date? But I heard that they made other 3D versions, and I forget the deal with that. Anyway, sorry. I'm trying to think what else. If there's I listened to, to get to the funeral took a while. So I listened to a bunch of albums, and I did re-listen to Danger Doom, and now I'm like really obsessed with it. And funny thing about the MF Doom Danger Mouse album, is that I was sort of into MF Doom. Ian was more into MF Doom. And then, but I liked that album a lot. And I think, I don't know. I don't want to get into it fully. Well, I guess I am. But I liked that before I got really into him. And then when he died, I listened to like everything. And I knew more about it. But about MF Doom. But I don't know, the MF Doom thing is interesting to me, because I feel like the kind of production MF Doom did was what was on Paul's Boutique, but now I'm noticing people, like you hear Denzel Curry or someone talk about that kind of production, they think of it as MF Doom. So it's like, I don't know, I often feel like people think I'm more influenced by MF Doom, but I'm influenced by the thing that influenced MF Doom, if that makes sense. I was more a Paul's Boutique person. But it's like whatever. Anyway, just splitting hairs on that. I can't think of anything else. I watched Beavis and Butthead today. Still, that show is still really good. Of old Beavis and Butthead, but them like voting against the place they live. That was a good. That was like a good little episode. Anyway, I think we undervalue a lot of certain, like Looney Tunes and the Beavis and Butthead reboots. Those two reboots, I feel like, are undervalued. I did do a thing on the Beavis and Butthead thing, and I will say that is like definitely my stress reliever show. Anyway, Mufasa needs to fail. All right. I do watch Futurama. I actually forgot to watch that trailer. But anyway, I can't think. Oh, okay. I want to talk about some video stuff, and then we will get into the videos, the real stream, the nuts and bolts of it, because we do have a full show. One thing I was gonna first off, Challengers, I know it was late. I shot it back in May. I am going to do a video that's like best movies of the first 4 months of the year, like a short. That was one of them. I didn't want a past live situation again, so thus why that happened, if you thought that was random. I forgot, the King Kong video that if you saw the stream, that has an extra part because I found videos which I should have searched for and done a better job. And I found them later, including a 45-minute pretty much documentary with all the. I think it is sort of all the news coverage of King Kong and the Empire State Building. So if you watch me do it on stream and you're like, oh, you just have some stupid pictures on it, you asshole, whatever. There is a whole section after, because I actually edited all of the video and then I found this stuff and I go, all right, I will put on an addition. So that has an extra thing on it if you want to watch that. And the Illumination video is like my 4th most watched short of all time. That was really cool. And I forgot to mention this, the Pixar Brain Trust thing from a little bit ago. The reason why that's not an official short is because it's a little too long, but I couldn't cut it down. I didn't want to cut it down because you kind of need to explain who the Brain Trust is. And anyway, so it just like, it is that way, whatever. Maybe I said that before, but I feel like I didn't. And now I feel like I did. And the other thing, and this goes into a story later on, is I had this whole plan with the Kevin Costner was almost in thing. And I was like, every Horizon, I will have a new Kevin Costner thing. It'll be like so cool. It'll be like part 1 with part 1, part 2 with part 2, part 3, I had a part 3, and maybe a part 4 or just a compilation of it for the last Horizon movie. But they pulled Horizon Part 2 today. So I don't know what I'm doing with that. I really don't know. It's kind of funny. I don't know what we're doing with that. And when the movie review vote winners video, there's going to be a Patreon exclusive thing with something to do with the kind of shorts compilation thing. There will be more info of that when that video comes out. Anyway, I'm sorry my voice is like this. You know, it's like I was just talking. Anyway, hello, Maximus Hardwood. Maximus Hard. That's a good one. All right. Sorry. All right. Sorry, water bottle almost fell. This and everything I do is supported by you, the fans, either through super chats during the show, which if anyone wants to, I have a energy drink, but I can't reveal it because no one's done a super chat. Although Cornbread did guess it. Props to Cornbread, because it was not, I didn't think it was an easy one. I don't know. Anyway, I will drink the energy drink during the show. It'll keep me going. Sorry. Either that or my Patreon, which is linked below. It has all sorts of cool stuff like postcards, exclusive videos, which there's going to be a bunch this month. Access, postcards, exclusive videos, my commentary series, which is part of that. All sorts of cool stuff like that. It helps me be able to pay bills, do anything really cool for this channel, like make flyers and stickers and promote and send my short films to film festivals and stuff like that. And maybe pay bills too and like keep the lights on. That would be cool too. It helps the channel running, basically. They're both great ways to support the show. I will, be silly and drink this energy drink and stuff like that. But as well as, if you just want to support, either one is very thankful if you're financially able to do so. But just giving a... okay, hold on. Let me finish this part, Austin. If you're financially able to do so. But if not, just subscribing or liking the video helps out. But if you are just watching and you're like, look, dude, I just watch this thing. I don't even have a YouTube login or whatever, because I actually have spoken to those people. If you're just watching, thank you for being here. I actually really appreciate it. It's really cool of you. If you're able to, or if you want to do any of those other things, I very much appreciate it. It does help me be able to do this. And maybe one day this is all I could do. This could be the job. This would be awesome. But until then, thank you, just for being here, and any of your support is very appreciated. Anyway, Austin, with the first super chat of the night, said, doing well as Dry Bowser. See, I do. First off, okay, so I have this. Sorry, I want to get my... This is called Don't Quit. So if you're ever like, Jim, don't quit on the stream, I guess. I don't know. I just wanted to get a different one. Even though I saw tonight my grocery has a Red Bull fridge and a Ghost fridge, so shit's about to go down, I guess. Anyway, let's try this out. Don't quit energy hydration. Okay, it's all right. It's all right. All right. I don't want to quit that yet. I will say, wait, where do you go? I like drive Bowser, and I drive as the motorcycle, because then you can do that thing where like you drive on the side and the sparks come, and then you can get the boost. I do that a lot. Um. Okay. Oh, also, sorry. The Discord. If you like everyone in this chat, you see right here, and you think it is a great community. Guess what? There's a Discord server where it's there 24 hours a day. They have awesome things, like a daily question, as well as they do movie watches. They have the licensed playing card channel, which I have because I'm always playing with cards and stuff. You have a great community that Austin's and Powers run. It's a wonderful thing. They have all sorts of categories. I am on it probably more than any other Discord, especially general and the Ask Jim channel, and you can give suggestions if you're like, hey, you should do this, go on that channel. It's a great community. If you're not on Discord, I highly recommend it. It's in the link. There's a link in the description. Please go there. It's a wonderful community. And Cornbread has a thumbnail prediction, which I haven't seen yet, but will after the show. As well as follow me on TikTok, Instagram, Twitter, Facebook, Tumblr, all those things. They're all linked in the description. If you want to follow me on everything, you can. If not, whatever. All right. They're watching Legally Blonde. Oh, is that because of hello, Restless Metal Punk? Is that because of Longlegs? Because the director's in is that why? I'm just curious. I'm assuming it's why. I feel like it's why. Anyway. So first up, the Sandy Cheeks trailer, or whatever SpongeBob thing it's called. I actually liked that. I know it leaked a while ago or something. I have not watched it. I don't know. I just didn't watch it yet. I was sort of like not really into the idea of why do a Sandy Cheeks movie? Like, what was the point of that? But then I watch it, and it's basically just like a cool idea for a SpongeBob movie. Like, I thought it was a good concept. I'm a little confused why it's headlined by Sandy, because it just seems like a SpongeBob movie, essentially. Like, you'd think she'd be, like, away from everybody. It just feels like another SpongeBob movie. I'm a little lost on, like, why even make the distinction, but it looked like a cool idea of, like, everyone disappearing, and SpongeBob and Sandy have to save them from, like, Galveston, Texas and stuff. I thought that was actually cool. I'm a little more into it than I thought I would. Wait, what? You wanted me, because I'm not putting it, it wasn't big enough. I'm sorry. SpongeBob will have its day again. Don't worry. I feel like he'll be back in the thumbnail, but it wasn't big enough this time. But it looked like a cool trailer. I am confused, and I think like when we get into the Paramount stuff, why they just dumped this on Netflix. To me, it's like, I feel like if you retitle it just SpongeBob movie, what are we at, 4 or something, like it would have been fine. Like I find it just like the Sandy Cheeks thing odd to me. Like why do we have to push this so much? It just seems like a bizarre I don't know. Just seem that element seems weird to me, but it looked fun. I don't love the 3D mom. Just like, why isn't SpongeBob in 2D? Why do we have to push this crap? Like what? Like SpongeBob is already big in 2D. Like what are people really like? But this is a movie, and I'm like, does that mean it's worse? I don't understand that. Like why? I will never get that design choice. Like it just doesn't make any sense to me. I just don't. I think it's fucking dumb. Anyway, so we kind of have two things that I have put in the thumbnail too much, but they are kind of big stories. I did not expect Shrek 5 to be official because there's been so much teasing about it, particularly, I guess last week or the week before with Eddie Murphy doing press. Some people have speculated he was not supposed to say those things. I would think that they probably knew because most of like the big interviews he did was with NBC, who are owned by Universal, who owns DreamWorks. So to me, it's like, sure, they didn't know, but like they had control over those interviews. So I'm a little like, I don't know, I feel like it was like all planned to a certain point. And the cats are fighting for some reason. Uh, Thank you, Sinram. Everyone should give Sinram a thumbs up. Why not? But anyway, I find that whole like, I saw people saying that. I think they're being silly, but we finally got the full announcement on Shrek 5 is coming out in July of 2026. With the original cast returning, you get Cameron Diaz, which I think is probably the biggest get of them because she sort of retired. Michael Myers, or Mike Myers, sorry. No, it's actually Michael Myers. No, Mike Myers and Eddie Murphy with Walt Dornan directing. Walt Dornan played Rumpelstiltskin in Shrek 4. We don't really know anything else. I think this is going to be the first Chris Meledandri. I mean, it is the first Chris Meledandri run Shrek movie. I think the bigger questions is, we're all just like, they actually announced that it's actually happening. This isn't a teaser, so I won't be the hypercritical thing I usually am, where it's like, well, what's the concept, motherfucker? Like, I don't, like, but right now it's like Shrek 5 is fine. I have seen a lot of people bringing up the stuff with how when Toy Story 5 is announced, everyone's like, this sucks. Why are you doing this so much? I saw everyone bring the human resources meme, all that stuff. I think the difference is it's sort of like, I was thinking about this today. A comparison to this would be, like I follow like Willie Nelson on Spotify basically, and he puts out stuff all the time. But like Johnny Cash has a new album and hasn't in a while, and because he hasn't in a while, people are like hyped and writing about it and all this stuff. And Willie Nelson puts out a compilation or an album like fairly regularly, and I don't think I could like pay someone to care about some of those. So it's like if the absence, I guess, makes the heart grow fonder, and I think that's a lot of it because nobody thought it would come back, and it's been like, because there hasn't been a Shrek movie since what, 2010. That's a long time. Whereas Toy Story 4 was like 2019, and people were already annoyed that there was a Toy Story 4 because of how Toy Story 3 ended. I actually think the Toy Story 4 thing is more of the generation who were kids with the first one and then were adults when 3 came out, and everyone else is okay with it, but that's my own certain thing. I also think like you do have, I think if they really want to nail this and like keep making Shrek movies, and I'm sure Universal and certainly Illumination, despite when Chris Meledandri's like, oh, we'll only make another Despicable Me if we have a concept. I'm like, okay, dude, like you've all played the we're gonna retire game with all that stuff a few times, and I really don't buy it. I think they probably want this to be sort of a triumphant return. So I feel like the studio probably had, because people are like, this could be the first DreamWorks can make $1 billion. This could be a huge hit, and I think it could be, but you have to be really good. And I don't know, like you'd have to understand that. I think to make a good Shrek movie, you have to have Shrek reluctantly taking on responsibility, and if he's not doing that, like 3 was horrible, 4 was better but didn't like work entirely. And I think you need to, I don't know, if I was them, I would look more at what I think works about Shrek 1 and Shrek 2 is that Shrek is like, I don't want to do this, but I like this girl, so I guess I'll like do it. And then he like reluctantly goes into it and wins and all that stuff. But if you don't have that, it's sort of like, I just don't think it works as a concept. Like he has to be not wanting to do this, but I don't know like what he would do at this point, like what would be the thing. So I don't know. I mean, it seems like from what Eddie Murphy was saying, we'll get Shrek 5 in 2026, and then we'll probably get Donkey soon after that, and then we'll probably get Shrek 6 in 2030 or some crap like that. So I don't know. We'll see. It feels like kind of just another extension of it. I'm a little like I part of me wishes they picked a different director who has, like, if it was Phil Lord and Chris Miller, I'd be like, oh, cool. That sounds interesting. This is just kind of like, okay, I mean, you got the band back together, but like your last album wasn't exactly great, so we'll see about all that. Shrek Day, the third Shrek Kills. I like Sinram's Shrek and Wolverine, Shrek the Rise of Gru, Shrek Balboa, Shrek. Oh, I miss Shrek in the Kingdom of the Crystal Skull. I like that, man. I like somebody. You should write these down. I like this. The guy. I don't know. I'm not. I mean, I get that. Like they're all like friends. They all want to work together, and maybe that was part of the stipulation. But, I'm also like, what's the concept? That's kind of my bigger thing there. But whatever. So I'm sort of running through these. There's not, some of these are not, don't have as much info, but hey, we're in it. We're in it. You know what I mean? So the Cartoon Network is dead stuff. This was kind of a thing. It's more for the Animators Union. Really? Legally Shrek. I like Legally Shrek. That's funny. Shrek Takes Manhattan. The point of it is to talk about the union, and there's a vote coming on, and it's really more about that. And then people are going on and on about, oh, well, the Cartoon Network Studios is still around, and it's not dead, and like the channel is different from the studios, and they're separate things. And I'm like, sure, I guess. Here's the thing: is like Cartoon Network, in terms of like where we're at, or any cable channel, much like MTV or BT or any of those at this point, they are essentially dead. I mean, it's like, it is over. It's not, I'm not going to play this game where like, oh, well, as production, we make this and that. And I'm like, okay, guys, it's just, you're essentially just, another subdivision under a corporation. Whereas before, they were operating and constantly putting out, showing as a channel and stuff like that. And it's like, you can't tell me it's like thriving, or like, the whole point of why it's dead is like everyone's out of fucking work because there's no Cartoon Network. So you're telling me, oh, well, the studio's alive, but it's not really dead. It's like, it's blah, blah, blah. I'm like, yeah, I don't know. I'm not playing this game. Like, I've seen what's happened to MTV. It's like, when I watch Beavis and Butthead, it goes like MTV Studios, and I'm like, okay, but I'm just watching this on Paramount Plus, and you're playing it on Comedy Central. Like, none of this means anything anymore. It's just brands, keeping brands around because that brand means something. You can sell it off, which is, we'll get into the Paramount stuff, is another thing that's going to happen maybe. But like, that's the only reason they keep them around. Their assets. And essentially it's all Warner Brothers Animation. And sure, maybe, how many of us even watch, like, what was the last Cartoon Network Studios thing that did well? It's like, is Adventures of Superman Cartoon Network Studios? Not really. That's Adult Swim. Smiling Friends, obviously Adult Swim. Like, what is, are we talking about all those Adventure Time spin-offs? It just, to me, it's like very silly to have this splitting hairs thing, when the point is to show like, well, people still love these things and mention your favorite Cartoon Network shows. So it just like, I think there's like conversation, like there's been a few like media conversations this past week that have like completely devolved into like, I don't think it's misunderstanding. I think people are like, I want to say something too, and they don't think about if that makes any sense. Like, same with like that weird Miami Vice thing that like, that I couldn't figure that out, because it was like someone posted they showed the Miami Vice movie to their girlfriend, and then somehow the guy who runs the Guggenheim got mad at him or something. I got real lost on all that shit, and people are like, he embarrassed himself and like went on a rant about Miami Vice, and like, the Miami Vice movie confused me, because it seems like a lot of dudes who like really like it, and I'm like, oh, you should watch the show. It's literally the same as the show, And they're like, no, but I like the movie. And I'm like, why would you not watch the show? It's like so many, whatever. Anyway, I think the Cartoon Network is dead thing. I get why people are upset and stuff, but to me, the point of it was to say, all these people are like need work, and it's because these things are dead and are not thriving the way they are. And I don't think Cartoon Network is, but I also think the thing with Cartoon Network is it is not positioned itself streaming wise the same way like Nickelodeon has on Paramount Plus. Like we use Paramount Plus at here at home, and like I feel like because they have Dora and SpongeBob, it gets used a lot here, and I don't think Cartoon Network, it's like I don't see that being positioned in the same way. I think it could though. I think it could, but Max is not pushing it. So it's like, I think their point is to pressure them and be like, hey, look how popular the cartoons are. But it's like Cartoon Network, even the studios, it's like you have to be putting something out for me to think you're not dead. You have to acknowledge something. And yes, I do not think any of these people are being treated fairly. Very obviously they are not. But acting like it's not dead, or like, this whole like weird animation cult thing over like channels. To me, it's like MeTV Toons is the only real channel that's like kind of a new thing, and like I hear people talking about, and like animators are really into. But like outside of like, or like, I got my kids Shrek, fellas. Sorry, I got my kids. I know other kids have gotten into, but these is like, if kids watch shows, they're watching them through apps. They don't care about the brand anymore. It's like, before you'd be like, oh, I just put on Cartoon Network, or I just put on Nickelodeon. Now they're like, I watch Netflix, I maybe watch Max or something. If what I think what Max should learn from this, if they learn anything, which they won't because it's Zaslav, is that like push your kids stuff more on Max. Like you're just not, and whatever. I think it's like this is just a weird situation because it was really something for a union to build publicity, and then we just started talking about a bunch of dumbass nonsense, which is like, I think honestly how too many discussions go when you're like trying to talk about one thing and someone's like, but what about this? You're like, I mean, that's not even an interesting perspective, but you were like three paragraphs in. So anyway, in my mind, Cartoon Network, yes, compared to what it was 10 years ago, is dead. Is Cartoon Network Studios making stuff? I hope so. I would love for it to come back, but I think acting like it was in this climate is a bit idiotic, let's be honest. All right. We got word, and I want everyone, I think people are going to freak out about this. Mask of the Shrek. This is all, how okay, my real question about this is, so I'm getting all these Shrek memes. I'm about to. Anyway, I like that I'm getting the Shrek memes after the Shrek segment is over. This is funny. All right, Shrek and Boots. Okay, that's too far. You can't Shrek a Shrek spinoff. That's too much Shrekking. There's something about Shrek. Oh, that I like. At least that. I see why you did. What was it? Oh, so I married a Shrek murderer. So I married an act Shrek. No, a Shrek murderer. How I Married a Shrek Murderer. There we go. I did one. Look at me. I'm hip with the kids. So we got word that there's going to be a new Sam Raimi movie. However, I want to specify about this. Here's what we know about it. It's a story. It's said to fall somewhere between Rob Reiner's Misery, or Rob Reiner's adaptation of Stephen King's Misery, and Robert Zemeckis' Castaway. It's supposed to take place basically on, it's like a two-hander horror thriller on an island. And it's going to be called Send Help. It'll be at 20th Century Studios. However, it has not been greenlit, probably because these guys are idiots. You have a Sam Raimi horror movie. His Evil Dead movie did well. He did that Doctor Strange film that people were weird about. But this is not actually fully a go, but it sounds cool, like a new Sam Raimi horror movie. I think we could all use that. I would like to see him, especially if like you guys are not going to give him those Avengers movies, so like just let him do his own weird Sam Raimi thing. Like I would be excited for that. I think that's like, I think people would be down for a new Sam Raimi. I don't know how much it costs. Maybe, I mean, that's the one thing with horror. Like Drag Me to Hell was sort of his, I did the Spider-Man, this is my victory lap thing. But like, if it didn't, you know, obviously he should get a little bit of a budget, but if it was under 30 mil or something like that, then I think 20th Century Studios should go for it. I mean, they don't really have a lot of horror. They did the one with Caitlin Devers that I reviewed where the aliens came and stuff. Like, they don't really do, and that was just on Hulu. That was just a dump on Hulu. So, like, you know, it would be nice for 20th Century Studios. I think they could do some horror stuff. I still love that Disney hated the Fox thing so much they changed the name back to, like, an obscure studio from the 30s. Amazing. I still love that. This is my kind of shit. All right, before we talk about, we're going to have trailers going throughout. We got the Gladiator 2 trailer. I think before this trailer came out, people were like, wait, Denzel's in this? And then, like, the trailer came out, and they're like, oh, shit, Denzel's in this, and, like, other people maybe. Like, understand this, Denzel Washington is a movie star, and I've done this for a while. When they do these, like, lists once a year or something of, like, who normal people vote on, who are the best movie stars. And it's usually like him, Tom Hanks, John Wayne, and like, I don't know, a bunch of other people. But it's always like those three. And like Denzel is like, has a following, but he's also like one of our great actors. I don't know why people get weird about him and are like, is he that good? And I'm like, yes, he is. Like, come on. You could see it in here. I think Paul Mescal, in my mind, got overshadowed, but I think what worked about Gladiator, I'm not the biggest Gladiator fan, but I think the revenge movie part of the first one is no doubt the strongest. And this one does that very well. Like, looks like good revenge thing. I think the other thing that's not Denzel that we should also talk about is the water kind of, the Colosseum water fight, because I had heard that for forever since I was a kid, that they would put in somebody, or Sidram, please post this in the Discord. I can't keep up with all these. There's so many. From Shrek till Dawn, somebody make an official Shrek pun list. This is crazy. You always hear about the water filling into the Colosseum, but actually seeing them do a thing in there, it seemed really cool. It looks way better. Like, I was not honestly hyped for it. The only person I'll say who doesn't come out as charismatic is Pedro Pascal, which I was a little surprised by how there's so much hype around him as an actor right now. Like, I think I talked about how there was like articles written about his availability. Like, that's an insane thing. Like, actors don't, that shows how much hype the industry has for him. And I didn't really get that from this movie. Not to like talk shit, and it's just a trailer, like it's not the movie, but I was a little surprised by like his performance. I was a little like underwhelmed, but Paul Mescal looks cool, but like, man, Denzel stole the fucking show with this. I really gotta say, good trailer, got people talking. I think if you just had a trailer, people would be like, oh, I'm excited, but like this was like different. Like, I think the Water Coliseum thing, and like really seeing Denzel be Denzel with has he worked with Ridley Scott before, or he's just a Tony Scott guy before this? Because I know he did Man on Fire and Unstoppable, but has he done a Ridley Scott before? I feel like if any, Sinram, stop the Shrek memes and let me know. No one can answer this but Sinram. He would know. I just feel like he would know if Denzel's been in a Ridley Scott thing before. The Shrekening. I almost don't want you to stop, but I feel like you will answer. Of anyone here, no offense to all of you in your Ridley Scott fandom, I feel like Sinram would know. Denzel did. There we go. Thank you. Okay, forgot about that. Thank you. Make that a Shrek meme. The Shrekarian gangster, the American Shrekster. No, that doesn't work. Never mind. This is insane. I don't know how this chat became this. I have to talk about a serious thing, and y'all are goofs. All right, I got a bunch of goofs in here. This is a bunch of goofs. All right, so Paramount has merged with Skydance, Shreky Brown. Okay, all right. It says blush. Okay, sorry. Paramount has merged with Skydance, and there's some things I wanted to talk about with this, and I know I'm pushing the Lasseter thing, and it's not to be like sensational. It is a major question that needs an answer at some point. There's just no way around that. They have to tell. At some point, we will have to be like, oh, they fired him, or oh, he's not that involved, or something like But as I've said, the reporting has said that they plan on him doing something major. We haven't heard that yet. However, what we have learned is yes, them merging together is much better for Hollywood in general. It doesn't mean that there's one less major anymore because I guess the deal with I think there was a deal with Sony at one point. There were other people who wanted to merge with them. And the fact that they didn't do that and went with Skydance and they would have made more money speaks more to the Redstone family and what they were doing. There's a lot of hype around David Ellison and how he is a good executive, and don't worry, there's a but on this, but how he really cares about movies and how they've done all the Mission Impossibles, or at least a bunch of the more recent ones, and Skydance has been involved with Paramount a lot, so it sort of just honestly just makes a lot of sense with David Ellison there, and he's a quote-unquote good executive, I guess, whatever. And then and his plan to do more with Paramount Plus, which I think they could, they have If on there right now, which is still a pretty big movie. I should have known he was going to do that. But he wants to do more with that, which I'm sure the Sandy Cheeks movie going to Netflix is not helping things. However, I think the thing with this is also that, well, first off, is that Paramount has a 45-day shop around period before the merger closes. So in theory, they could just take a deal with Warner Brothers tomorrow. Legally, they are allowed to do that for 45 days, which a lot of people were surprised by. So I'm a little that's kind of one of those details where is anything going on with that? Maybe not, but it's there. You know what I mean? It's what are you doing with that? However, I know we talked a lot about Lasseter, but it turns out Ellison sort of has a bit of a history of having executives who are very renowned, but got canceled for very justifiable reasons. Jeff Shell, who's actually going to be the head of Paramount, who was brought in from, I believe it was NBC, was his former job, but he was actually fired for sexual harassment, as well as John Lasseter. So it kind of feels like David Ellison is I don't know what his deal is with these guys. I don't know if he made them go to therapy or have sensitivity training. I get the vibe he didn't, since we can't find a story on that. It just seems like he's well, I can hire these these powerful executives because no one else will, and I'll get them to run my company since they've been canceled. So Jeff Shell is very well regarded, as well as John Lasseter. Regardless of, I don't particularly like him as a person, but he's a very influential executive. He's a very influential director. So I think what we're seeing with this Paramount merger is he's sort of getting discounted top executives because, obviously Warner Brothers probably doesn't want to give Lasseter a thing. Universal doesn't want to give Lasseter a thing. But Paramount's oh, hey, you wanna come over here? Oh, hey, Jeff Shell, you wanna come over here? I wouldn't be surprised if this seems to me like a pattern. If it was just Lasseter, but to have two is oh, okay, I see how this goes, bro. We're also hearing some that MTV and BET seems to be the one that there's been a lot of talk of that being sold, so that's not out of the ordinary. But we're also hearing MTV will probably be sold at some point. What that means ultimately, we'll see, but a lot of people have speculated, since they're going to be cutting jobs, obviously, because of a merger, that they're also probably going to be selling off various networks or these brand names that mean jack shit at this point, but they can be sold to somebody for lots of money. So we'll see. I'd be curious if someone bought MTV and did something with all of those rights. That also might be why they're moving, getting Beavis and Butthead to be more associated with something like Comedy Central than MTV, despite the fact that it says MTV Productions. The MTV thing is speculated, but we'll see. It also they didn't make a ton of money off the deal, but I think it's better for the industry as a whole. But the question with Lasseter really is, because there has been reporting like they wanted him to run basically everything. They want him to have, run Nickelodeon, run the Paramount animated movies. But the other question is, what happens to Skydance Animation? Do they now go, oh, we have this Brad Bird 2D movie, and we could do that, and like they have these at their disposal. So the question of what's happening with Paramount and Viacom in terms of animation is a major one, and what will happen. I think I'm really curious what will happen, because that could really, I don't know, it could be scary, it could be weird. Maybe Lasseter uses his mojo that he put onto the 2010s Disney animation and Disney TV animation and stuff like that. I mean, I feel like that era had, your Gravity Falls and your Starverses and things like that. So we'll see, but I don't really want him running Ninja Turtles and SpongeBob and Dora the Explorer. I don't love that situation. So we'll see what happens. But if it was me and I'm running Paramount, I would sell off MTV, because they don't really do that much with the brand. And I do think, I don't know, they also, the other thing is they have Pluto, and I think you could actually use Pluto more to your disposal, even though Pluto has so many channels. But like, for example, like I think I've said this before, if you just really just made a channel that's just old MTV like news segments and like bumpers and like stuff like that, like it would be like, oh, it's 3:00, they're playing an old Headbangers Ball or 120 Minutes or Dial MTV or TRL. I think you could be making a lot more money off your IP than they presently are, and I'm a little surprised they didn't make more. So all right. Let's. Okay, if anyone, not to beg or anything, but if anyone wants to keep me awake with a super chat, that would be appreciated, and I would be thankful. Anyway, so X-Men 97, we finally learned who's going to write after Beau DeMayo. The thing with this, we learned it was Matthew Chauncey, who wrote for What If, is going to take over for season 3, and that Beau DeMayo's work has been revised and completed for season 2. Oh, that's so cool. You should watch that, Headbangers. That's cool. Congrats to your mom. And Beau DeMayo has been revised for season 2 to kind of sit in with season 3. My thing with this show is I really like X-Men 97 season 1, and I think I've said this a few times, is my major issue with it is season 1 was not written in a way that like you knew it was going to fall apart in another season. It's like, I think I've said this before, but like Billy Wilder's famous quote about screenwriting, you don't have third act problems, you have first act problems, and I could tell he has first act problems because he's just like running through X-Men storylines like really quickly. And I know like I did complain about Inferno being like just sort of an episode, which I thought was a little crazy. And some of the times like having life, death, and two things, and like it did feel like he kind of, it worked, but like it's like, did a bull in a china shop, clean out your inventory? I don't really think so. It kind of just felt like someone who didn't really have a plan, and I know he felt like he did for part of the season, but it felt like he's just like what if this would be interesting, and that, and this, and this, and that. And so I do think they need more of a status quo person to kind of fill it out. But this guy is not someone who I think is honestly that interesting. Like, I wasn't impressed by him, but I knew they had to have someone who really knew how to build seasons. So it's sort of like, if Beau DeMayo had, like, let's say, not been canceled with whatever it was, I'm still surprised it hasn't come out, but whatever it is, I do think, like, at a certain point the show would majorly fall off. It's just, like, the way it's written. I mean, maybe he could have just, like, haphazardly written a bunch of, figured it out somehow, which it seems like his style did quite a bit. So maybe it would have all worked together in a sense. But I don't feel that way. I don't. So we'll see. I mean, season 2, he is still involved, but season 3, he will not be involved, obviously. So I think they could have gotten a more interesting writer, but he seems like a writer like people are bringing up. Oh, he did stuff on Love and Thunder. To me, like Taika Waititi did whatever he's going to do on that. What If is fine. It doesn't blow me away, but maybe he will, he has the writer's room and has Larry Houston and all that stuff. Maybe it'll work out, but I don't know. It's sort of like, I don't think the seasons after season 1 seems like a hard thing to do. So we'll see what happens with season 2, but I do think it's going to be a little crazy. I will get into box office in a second. I just need to pee. I'll be right back. And then I guess I can keep seeing you guys do Shrek memes for a while. Anyway, sorry, this is not the official break, but I'll be right back right after this, after I pee. Okay, sorry, I am back. All right. Okay, let's talk about. Wait, let me get the box office up. How's everyone doing? Has everyone had a good day? Does everyone want to share how they're doing? That'd be cool. I don't know. Or just tell me in Shrek how you feel. I guess. Um, every time I go to Box Office Mojo, it's like, do you want to know the week? I'm like, no, nobody wants to know the fucking week of, like, that's a weird box office. That's like a studio thing. Sometimes I think box office reporting they don't think about. Anyway, all right. What's going on with the box office? What does it say? Oh, I'm sorry. I'm sorry, Biggie. That sucks. I'm sorry about that. It's a mad swamp. There we go. So we've had sort of unprecedented success of Inside Out 2, which is now becoming the highest grossing Pixar movie, and I guess PG movie probably soon too. Yeah, it's the highest grossing Pixar movie. It outgrossed Incredibles 2. Yeah, it outgrossed Incredibles 2. It is now at $534 million. It's been an insane box office hit. Something that like feels unstoppable at this point. Like it just, it went down to number 2, but the number 1 is Despicable Me, making $75 million in the weekend. but obviously it opened on Wednesday, so it made a total of 122 million, which is still a huge success for Despicable Me 4. So the first, basically like everything in the top 5 were sequels, or I guess Quiet Place Day 1 is a prequel. It's almost made $93 million, which is insane for Quiet Place Day 1. But yeah, they're all doing crazy good number. Everything's kind of doing a lot better. Yes, I did talk about Cartoon Network. I'm sorry about that. That happened earlier. Even Bad Boys is still holding strong. So it's box office is doing better. But there's not much to talk about with Despicable Me 4 because it's just like, okay, it did very well. It held strong. I think it doesn't look as successful as it usually does because of Inside Out 2. Had we not just had an insane, unprecedented box office success, it makes Illuminations 1 look less special. I do think it's going to hold well. There's no way it doesn't hold. So, and then we get, Horizon Chapter 1, which fell 51%, is only at 22 million. Ouch. You got Sound of Hope, the story of Possum Trout, which was like what is it? I don't know. It's like a religious thing, right? I'm going to read this now. I don't know what this is. I just heard people wanted it to be Sound of Freedom, which sounds, I guess at some point I should see. I don't know. It said the true story of Donna and Reverend W.C. Martin and their church in East Texas, in which 22 families adopted 77 children. What? From the local foster system, igniting a movement of vulnerable children everywhere? What? That's what? I'm sorry, what? So they just adopted. Wait, so how many kids is it? Is that like they adopted 5 kids? Like, holy fuck. Like, how do they have that kind of money? Like, what the fuck? That's the movie? Well, what are they? Do you just see them get overwhelmed by like having like 5 children? Like, why would anyone want to like that? That's, I mean, good for them. Is that true? And the way you say vulnerable children, it sounds like they're trying to do something crazy. This is a real movie? What is wrong with religious people? This sounds like not like fun to watch at all. Like, I don't understand. Like, I mean, like, I hope... Did this really happen? Am I reading that? Did I click on the wrong thing? I mean, it's the right... I don't... It's like, that's... Okay. I get... Whatever. Alright, we keep saying, Kalki 2898, which sounds crazy. I kind of want to see it. Doing well. Making about 7 million. The Bike Riders is falling pretty harshly at losing 61%. But the one that really didn't do well expanding was Kinds of Kindness, which kind of like flatlined in having more theaters. Actually fell 45% despite opening in 430 more theaters. So it actually like it very much did not do well. Which is kind of surprising because it was doing well and people are like, oh, Yorgos Lanthimos is a box office guy and all this stuff. The good news is it didn't cost that much. The bad news is it's not making that much money anyway, but it doesn't feel like it's... I get... Surprise, guys. People do not want to go into an air-conditioned movie theater in the summer and watch a Yorgos Lanthimos movie. I'm shocked. I'm so shocked. I don't know. To me, it's like I didn't understand like why they didn't put this out in the fall, but whatever. I get they're like Emma Stone and Yorgos are hot. We need to compete with Inside Out 2, I guess. I don't know. Anyway, I heard, what other box office things? Should I go down to the bottom? I guess I should. Seven Samurai, so it opened at 27th, which is, it's only playing at one theater, actually, which I think is Film Forum, and I keep reading how it's selling out everywhere, so good for Seven Samurai. Hundreds of Beavers actually went up 95.3%, is only in 4 theaters, good for that. But that's actually cool. Seven Samurai is a great movie. If you've never seen Seven Samurai, I feel like there's like this whole like movement now. It's like I don't need to see the classics, but it's like, do you ever want to watch like a good movie? Just watch Seven Samurai. It fucking rules. And The bottom of the box office, the one who made $10 in two theaters, that is a $5 theater average, which makes me think it only played twice, is Ezra. Comedian Max co-parents autistic son Ezra with ex-wife Jenna. Faced with crucial decisions about Ezra's future, Max and Ezra go on a life-changing cross-country road trip. Is this, like, what? Is this a real movie? And it's made $3 million somehow. Are these real? Like, what? Why? Some of these are just like... I feel like some of the worst movies are dramas sometimes, and that... But man, $5. Yeesh. That's... Why'd you even report that, dude? Both of those movies sound like movies people who have shitty opinions watch. Like, I don't... Oh, man. But the Run Lola Run re-release still doing strong. So, alright. Sorry, I don't know how interesting it is hearing me react to movie. There was the one about the couples who switch places. That I was like, that could be weird interesting. I've noticed that the rest of the movies at the bottom of the box office, you're like, oh, that's why no one wanted to see you. You sound like dog shit. Wait, here's my question about Ezra. Ezra made $10. So in New York, tickets are like almost $15 or something. I have Regal Unlimited, so it's not that big of a deal for me. But that would insinuate that Ezra is only playing in one theater where $5 is the average ticket price. Or is it discounted? These are, someone really needs to go, you know what, I will go. I will call that theater. I want to know. Like, did someone just give the movie $10? This is a Sound of Freedom situation? Probably. They should be discounted from the box office. But, oh, the other things. Cinram is keeping a record. Oh, good night, Dan. Thank you for being here. It's always cool to see you, man. Cinram is keeping a record of all the Shreks, so there will be a record of Shreks. Just sorry. The other thing, Pixar thing was, this is the second highest grossing movie of what's considered, people are already calling the COVID era, I guess, right after Spider-Man No Way Home, right? Yes, it's about to be after Spider-Man No Way Home and Top Gun Maverick. It's like around that. That's where we're at with this. So guys, Ellen DeGeneres is retiring, so after her comedy tour, and then, you know, the special of it that's going to be on Netflix, and when they make Finding Nemo 3 or whatever. But other than that, I love it. I gotta say, though, I do love when celebrities do this, because in my mind, it's so much smarter to just stop, to like not say anything, and they always do this, and it's like the dumbest PR move. I never do that, because instantly everyone is like, but you're back. You said you weren't going to be back. And if you just like don't come back, people are like, oh, we missed you. Where did you go? But like, we won't do that, because then when she shows up, I'm like, I thought you said you quit. Get the fuck out of here. Don't come into my establishment. Anyway, so we learned, and everyone calmed down, that the Polly Pocket movie isn't happening. Lena Dunham realized she could not deal with the studio notes and stuff like that. I don't really hate Lena Dunham. I know a lot of people get really upset. I just think she's a tad. I think girls, I don't know. I don't know if it ages better or worse. I think it is not the greatest or anything like that. But the thing is of the kind of mumblecore movement, she was never as interesting as her hype suggested. And I also think a Polly Pocket movie sounds horrible. But I know a lot of people are like, oh, she didn't want to settle for like settling her artistic vision, and she didn't want to do what like Greta Gerwig does. And look at Greta Gerwig's not making like, you know, small movies anymore. She's making big movies. I'm like, sure, but like I don't know what Lena Dunham has even done since Girls. I don't think it's even that big of thing. So it's just like it felt like a lot of people like kind of simping for someone who like I don't think I was like, have you watched any of her stuff? Like I know she made a few movies that like were not reviewed very well and not did not really break out. So it's like I thought she was an odd choice to begin with, and to like claim auteurism for the reason you're leaving it, I felt didn't really. I don't know. It seemed a little like let's like spin this in a way so it's not just like, oh, it just fell apart and I'll just ignore it. Like, let's make it into like I'm super creative and stuff. And I was like, I mean, I guess I think a Polly Pocket movie never sounded like an amazing thing. So, coffee table? What? Anyway, so there is a Fistful of Dollars remake presently. A Fistful of Dollars. That was the remake. Someone could get me. I don't want to drink the energy drink until I get a super chat. But if someone would like to, that would be. Sorry to repeat myself on that. The Fistful of Dollars remake, I would say yes. Don't do this. Except Fistful of Dollars is a remake of Yojimbo. They got sued by Akira Kurosawa because they unauthorized made Fistful of Dollars. So to me, it's like, so you're doing a Yojimbo riff? I mean, it's just Yojimbo, but like I don't really get like when people are like they can't remake that. I'm like, I mean, it is a remake. It's just like how Magnificent Seven's in the West, and then like, you know, there's Seven Samurai, Magnificent Seven, there's Yojimbo, and there's Fistful of Dollars. I've even seen someone do, you know, Fistful of Dollars remake with When the Raven Flies, which is a Viking version. So it's like, to me, it's like fine, just do something cool with it. To me, it's like if you're just doing the cowboy thing, that's boring. Don't do that. Nobody cares. Do it like now in present day and use the whole like concept of it. You could do, you know, you could do it in like a town in a war-torn country or something like that. You could do something interesting like that. But if you're just gonna have it be cowboys again, like I just don't really see much of a point. But it was funny not seeing that many people acknowledge the whole Yojimbo thing, because it's just a remake of Yojimbo. That's all it is. So, you know, do you not have the rights to Yojimbo? Probably. All right. So a couple people asked me to talk about this, and I'll bring it up. I guess the Lindsay Ellis returned to YouTube recently. I guess since I did the last show with her like Beatles thing about how Yoko didn't break up the Beatles. I would say it's a little boring to constantly. I've heard the Yoko didn't break up the Beatles thing so many times. Like, I don't think she broke up the Beatles. I think the Beatles were just a rock band that eventually broke up. But I still hear people say Yoko broke up the Beatles, even though it's been disproven so many times. So as much as I want to be like, you know, we really don't need to hear this again, I'm like, yeah, but there are definitely people who need to hear this. So I'm a little more like, you know what, she is right. I think she talked about when she was working on it. Someone just came up to her and said, Yoko didn't break up the Beatles. Yoko was just like a weird artist who got involved with the biggest band in the world, and any artist like that who gets involved in such a huge public thing was going to be an issue, obviously. I also liked how she did a section of it. It's not really that much about Kurt Cobain, and actually brought up his family history of suicide rather than not bring that up. I didn't even hear about that till I never heard about that as a kid when I was more into Nirvana, but then YouTube recommended me, someone had recorded, you know, after he died, the MTV coverage, and they bring it up in that coverage, and I hadn't really heard it that many times before. So I like that I like how researched it was. I like that video. I thought it was cool. Yes, it's things I've heard covered so many times. I think that about a lot of her stuff. I wish she'd have more esoteric interests sometimes, but other than that, I think for what it is and what it was accomplishing to do, I think it was cool. So You know, I do wonder if that, like, all the videos of her, like, answering questions and, like, trying to sell her book, the ultimate goal was not just to sell the book, was to test the waters of a YouTube return. And that's what they have sort of done. And maybe, you know, maybe that app or whatever she's on, I don't know. But it was a good video. I was just a little like, okay, I've done this before, but I still liked it. And if it gets someone to also think Yoko didn't break up the Beatles, I'm okay with that. You know, I think it's all right. So, how many things do we have here? We have a few. I would like to take a break in 20 minutes, like the actual break thing, not what I did. All right, so Emma Roberts recently said, if it wasn't for internet culture and everything being made into a joke, I think that sorry, I should do it in a voice. I'm going to, since I shouldn't quit, I'm sorry, but I know I was waiting for a super chat, but I need some energy. Okay. Should I do what voice should I do? Should I do like my Carl from Aqua Teen voice, or should I do a French guy? Or I feel like my voice might not hold up for this, so let's see. If it wasn't for internet culture and everything being made into a joke, I think that the reception would have been different for Madam Web's. And that's what bums me out about a lot of stuff, you know. Even stuff that I've done is people just make fun of a joke out of everything, you know, like Madam Web. It wasn't a joke. It was a lady who won, you know, whose mom was in the Amazon researching spiders before she died and shit. So I think this is cute that I've heard a couple Madam Web people, most people are making fun of it, but I have heard people say, oh, if the internet didn't make it into a joke, bitch, I saw that fucking movie. First off, that movie was a joke through and through. To be honest, I think the internet helped it, because everyone, when I saw it, was there to see Madam Web because they thought it was going to be the next Mommy Dearest or something. It wasn't, in fact. I think it's just like, I get that maybe you thought it was going to be something different, but it's Madam Web. It's just not a good movie. There's no way around it. And I think the people who, I don't get like why people do. I don't know. She seems a bit odd in her statements lately, but it's funny that she was like, no, Madam Web wasn't a joke. It was a real. She was researching spiders in the Amazon before her mom died. Is that how it went? Anyway, remember the Amazon people who dressed sort of like Spider-Man but weren't Spider-Man? Man, you can tell they didn't actually research spiders in the Amazon before her mom died, because if she had, she'd know that this movie was stupid. So, and Emma Roberts is barely in it. Why is she do you remember that Emma Roberts was in it? I feel like she's like, if I were her, I would not bring it up because nobody remembers she was in it. And now I remember she's in it. Like, it's doing the reverse. Like, Dakota Johnson isn't bringing this up. Although I saw a lot of memes of her when Ellen said she was retiring. So Ellen should invite her to a retirement party and she should not show up. All right. I heard about a long leg screening. I'm not sure if it's a meme or whatever, or not a real thing, but supposedly a long leg screening was broken up so the FBI could arrest a serial killer who was watching it. I don't know if that's true, but if serial killers like that movie, sounds like a good movie to me. We'll see. There's a few Legos Jaws things. Like there was the Lego set of like the ending with the orca and stuff, but they also put out like a cool little short thing. I'm fine with their short thing, but I'm gonna say this. I think 30-Second Bunnies did a better Jaws recreation. In fact, I should definitely do a video on 30-Second Bunnies. I love 30-Second Bunnies. It is the greatest thing ever. The fact that it is not running all the time forever is a crime. It is bullshit, frankly. I think, you know what? You know what? Fuck everybody who's trying to do a recreation. 30-second bunnies. I don't know if anyone knows what I'm talking about right now, but they were the best. They ruled. I will watch them no matter what. If I haven't even seen the movie, I will. If 30-second bunnies did it, I would watch it. So it was fun. It's cool, but nobody recreates a movie like. Does anyone know what I'm talking about? Nobody's responding. All right. Yeah. But I don't know. It was kind of cute, and I would get a Jaws Lego thing. It's just that I have a 2-year-old, so it's not gonna. That's gonna wind up on the floor. That's not gonna. That's not gonna last. That's not gonna last. All right. So this one I find odd, and Shrek and Confused. Okay, that's a good one. That's a good one. Leica is doing a live action movie produced with Phil Lord and Chris Miller. It's about a married couple who embark on a world traveling adventure to find a cure for an ancient curse. So, my thing with this is Leica, its whole brand and whatever is with stop motion. And if they do a live action movie, and I get like making live action movies obviously is shorter than making a stop motion movie. But to me, it's like, why is it just called Leica? Shouldn't it be called Leica ... with real people, or I don't know, something stupid like that? And I wish they do something different with it. It's just like, why are you confusing the brand that way? Like, what are you doing? Like, is this like the movie Stop Motion, where it's a stop motion and live action sort of thing? I don't see that happening. I don't know. It's just like, why even have Leica make a live action movie? Like, I don't really understand the purpose. Like, don't all those other studios do live action movies? Like, we don't need you to do that. If it's a financial thing, I guess, but it like doesn't really even make a lot of sense. Like, I just don't really get it. Like, Aardman does other kind of animated films, so maybe they should have done that. It kind of like doesn't make sense. Like, your brand sort of has to do a specific thing, and Leica not doing a Leica movie doesn't make any sense to me. So, like, if it's combining animation, stop motion with live action, sure, but seeing this, I'm like, Leica shouldn't do this. Like, A24 maybe, or something like that, but we'll see. Alright, so we keep getting rumors that there is a... I'll save it for... If anyone... Sorry. If there's another one. But I'll drink water till then, because my voice is being all sorts of funky today. They should do a documentary about making a Leica movie. They should. I think Leica just needs to make a new thing. I also think they should have not. They should have figured out a way to keep Henry Selick, like, but Wendell and Wild sort of just so came and went, and I felt like nobody really noticed it even. It's like when he announced a new thing, I feel like people are like, oh yeah, return to Coraline and stuff, and I'm like, he just did a thing with Jordan Peele. I feel like a lot of people didn't even know. So there's rumors that Disney is considering a Sky High show after they've heard things like The Boys and I think it's Gen V or something. Those are R-rated kind of shows, but I sort of get they're like, well, it can show superheroes can exist outside of the Marvel, DC, whatever. To me, it's like the thing about streaming services, which I thought Disney was utilizing for a little bit and then didn't, is like utilize those brands that you never really mess with, like you don't really do anything with ever. And I feel like Sky High's one of those where it's like a brand that like you could have a cool show, and like if you did my daughter was watching the High School Musical, the show. I forget. Too many things. But if you got like a good enough young cast and stuff, like I want there to be another Sky High show because I like that movie. It opened against Fantastic Four and was better. The 2000 whatever the one with Jessica Alba was. I think that could really work for you, and it's a good way to use your brands and stuff like that. But I just don't think. I don't know. We'll see if it happens. This is mainly a rumor, but the fact that they're using R-rated stuff, to me, it's like do what they did with High School Musical show. Like you could get lucky with your cast. You have an Olivia Rodrigo on your show and stuff like that. So yeah, you mean the musical show, musical High School show, musical? What? Yes, that's what I mean. Paleo. Hey, Paleo. How's it going, man? All right. So, I think I'll just do this one, and I should probably move on to the other. I should probably move on after that. There's a few stories after this. Well, I'll try to do as many as I can. Um, Tonight. They should bring back Kurt Russell. They should in general. You know, Pup, you've got a good point about X-Men 97. And they should, it would be, I'm surprised they haven't done animated. So David Zaslav, who, of course, we wanted to know his opinion on the presidential election. I know oh, hello, Chicago John. I know you're excited to learn, but he said, David Zaslav told reporters at the gathering that it was more important to him that the next president be business friendly rather than which candidate wins. Cool. Then he said, I know, don't worry, this gets better. We just need an opportunity for deregulation so companies can consolidate and do what we need to be even better. Yeah, basically this guy very much wants to just keep doing the mergers thing and mergers and acquisitions, and pretty much admits he doesn't care. He just wants his money. But is that not the villain we expected? That's like, I don't know why David Zaslav even gave this quote, because we all knew that's how he would feel, because he's David Zaslav and he's evil. So that's that's like I like how he's like, I don't even care. You know, he doesn't want to offend anyone about the political stuff, but he's like, but if we can merge more times in our business. It's just like, it's very super villainish of him. It's like, that's all he cares about is like merging with more people. And I mean, he has given money to the Democrats supposedly, but I think everyone pretty much thinks he's conservative and likes Trump, and you can tell because he wants a president who likes business, and he's a business person. So, some quick things. We learned that Jonathan Tropper, who wrote The Atom Project, which I actually liked, will be writing the script for Sean Levy's Star Wars film. It sounds like Sean Levy's Star Wars film is happening, despite what maybe I said earlier or something like that. It sounds like it is, and it has a writer, and the Atom Project's pretty good. So I will see what it's going to be. I just think it's going to be a very big Hollywood blockbuster kind of thing. Soaring, I have bad grammar. I am trying. Okay, no, it's okay. We heard about Spider-Man Noir, Brandon Gleeson. We know his cast. We don't know what villain he's playing, but we know he's playing the big villain, and that's about it. Nicolas Cage's quote, it says as Nicolas Cage. Of course, I will read it as a French person. It's more of... Sorry. I should have drank more water. I don't know what happened. It's more of a pop art mashup, like a Lynch pitting with some sparkle to it. It's not really people beating people up. Monsters are involved. That wasn't very good of me. Anyway, nothing like Nicolas Cage to give a quote. I'd be curious about it, especially after watching Into the Spider-Verse. I mean, if they have fun with the kind of noir kind of thing with it, you could have a really cool show. So, and Brendan Gleeson sounds fun to me. So if, for anyone who really likes Bugs Bunny, Me TV Tunes is doing a Bugs Bunny marathon on July 27th. I've had it weird for a while, but yeah, I think you missed. Yes, you have missed a few episodes. But they're going to have a Bugs marathon on July 27th, which is a Saturday. It's going to start at 10 a.m. and run until 6 a.m. the following day. There's going to be a documentary about Bugs, but they're going to play Bugs cartoons. I'm a little surprised they didn't wait to do June Bugs, which is what Cartoon Network used to do, and they play Bugs Bunny all weekend. I think it'll be a lot of fun. My daughter and I are going to try to watch some of it, like an hour or so. But it'll be cool if they're just doing a Bugs Bunny marathon on MeTV Tunes. I think that is a good idea. I don't know. I'm excited for it. I love that channel. We also heard that Abbott Elementary is coming back on October 8th, and that Regal Cinemas is doing a lot of updates across the board to all their cinemas. Since I've seen their updates in New York, and I do go to Regal's, I think they actually do a pretty good job, depending on... I like that comment. Nice comment, the Wessonator. Check out his TikTok. It's pretty cool. I do think they are actually trying to update all theirs across the board. I know AMC said they were doing that. I don't think they've released a statement in a while, but caring about the state of your regular Regal is actually something cool. So good for them. I also learned about, or I guess this is, I'm sorry this is so late in the show. Yes, Horizon Part 2 was pulled from its August release. Some people are saying it's going to be put back in November because they specifically said they want more people to have time to see Part 1. Based on the numbers, I don't think that's the issue. I just think he overcommitted to something. But yes, it has been pulled from release. It does not have a release date. Apparently it's done. The interesting thing about this Kevin Costner thing is a large chunk of the money comes from an angel investor, and no one knows who that investor is, but is given millions upon millions of dollars. So it'd be curious who it is. We don't know. We don't know who paid for Most Horizon. I'm kind of surprised they wouldn't just do I don't know, he didn't make a streaming deal or something, or if it's going to be not going to happen, the 3 and 4 and all that stuff. We'll see what the deal is, but it getting pulled release is obviously not a good sign. All right, we're almost towards the end here. Okay, this is something. Okay, every year there's the fireworks. I watched the fireworks. We had a good time. Oscar got to see his first fireworks in real life. Fell asleep. Which I guess was the Macy's fireworks. But I am very fascinated by the Macy's fireworks show TV special because, and I've never met someone who this is the case for, and anyone who I've talked to who is not like, or I don't know, I'm just always curious about it because basically, so the deal with the Macy's fireworks show before COVID hit, it basically mainly was made for people in the middle of the country who don't live near even a town or city and don't have a fireworks display to even go to. That's actually what it's made for. So if you ever watch it and all the ads are like super like middle America, super patriotic and stuff like that, it is because they're not selling it to you or me. They're selling it to people who's like, live in a farmhouse in the middle of a field or something. That's like basically who they're selling it to. I'm being a little dramatic about it, but that's basically who they're selling it to. So I always find it sort of an interesting thing. But since they, COVID and so forth, it's actually ratings do a lot better. There's more and more people go inside and also heat waves and stuff. So the amazing fireworks actually were up 2%. So good for the Macy's Fire. And they had Belle Biv DeVoe perform. And I watched that before while I was setting up. And it was cool. They just did Poison. The year before they had LL Cool J and The Roots. So I think a little bit of a downgrade. No offense to Belle Biv DeVoe. If they had New Edition, I'd feel differently. But they don't. All right. So sorry. It is like something every year. I'm like, oh, what were the ratings like? I want to hear the theories on the Fourth of July ratings. And I'm gonna be honest, I always get into it. I don't know. I always find it to be interesting because it is like a highly rated thing. It was one of the highest rated entertainment specials, but it's like one nobody thinks. I don't know. Sorry. I always read about it. I find it a little fascinating. I know it is a weird thing that I am into, and yeah. But if I ever meet someone who like watches every year because they have no access to something, I'd be curious. I'd be very curious. But I live in a farmhouse in the Midwest, and I ain't got no town. You don't? Did you watch it? Not plausible. I'm curious. All right, let's go through. I'm just gonna drink this. It's I think, yeah. Don't think we're getting any more super chats here. So cheers to all of you, I guess. That is good though. With Shrek and Pelham 1, 2, 3, good. So trailers. Today we got the We Live in Time trailer with Andrew Garfield and Florence Pugh. It looks like a cool kind of family drama thing. I'm a little. It feels like a little too sappy with certain things, and I know it looked fine. I just didn't really, unless it's really good and stuff. But they're both good actors. They feel like they have good charisma. Maybe it'll be good. I don't know. We the Agatha All Along trailer, which I was surprised by because I thought it was better than I expected it to be. But I don't. I was like, I don't think I'm gonna watch it. But it looked better. You know, I was like extremely disinterested before, and now I'm like moderately okay with it. So big turnaround there. The Hellboy, the Crooked Man trailer looked like a fine horror movie if you didn't have Hellboy in it. I find that apparently Mike Mignola is involved and stuff like that. I find this whole thing odd because like I feel like maybe he wants to do other Hellboy movies, but like the Del Toro ones, like you had Guillermo del Toro do them. Like people are very into him and his aesthetic and stuff. So I think it'd be really hard, but at the same time, I do think there should be more sequels that are just like guy goes on average adventure. Like it gets dull that every adventure is going to destroy the entire universe or whatever. And this is like, could work as just an average Hellboy adventure, but it's like without Ron Perlman and stuff, it just like adds to a lot of. I think it just like makes you not really want to see it at all. And then we got the trailer for Watchmen Chapter 1. This is, I guess, the comic sort of recreation of Watchmen. I'm like, sure, I guess. I kind of want us to get a break from Watchmen. I don't know. I don't really understand the point. Maybe it'll be cool having a direct adaptation of it. Probably better than that movie that we got, which, yeah. So let's do obituaries, and then, hey, I covered everything. Yay, is everyone proud of me? And then we'll do the segments. John, is it John Landau? I have it as Joe Landau, and that doesn't seem right. Landau. John Landau. Why is it? Okay, John Landau died this past week. He was a producer on Titanic and the first two Avatars. A big hand to James Cameron, supposedly, who's a very nice guy. I think he will sorely be missed, and his filmography is something of legend. As well as, and this came out today, and I got to thank Ryan Walterson, who's not here, but he helped with this, is Benji Gregory, who's the child star on Alf, died, I guess, or was found dead on June 13th, which was a while ago, actually. He was apparently found in his vehicle dead, along with his service dog, and that he did suffer from depression. My condolences to his family. That sounds horrible. I hope they're okay. All right, so here's what's going to happen. I'm going to take the real break. Then when I come back, I will tell my story of how I almost, how I snuck into American Pie, or almost snuck into American Pie. Then I will review the pilot for Oh My God Yes. and then we'll do questions, and that will be the end of the show. If you want to do a super chat, I'm sorry I'm pushing it so much. There just haven't been many tonight. Then you're running out of time, so please do so soon. But anyway, I will be right back. I'm going to put up the cool Ace the Wind Rider bumper here. Going to put that up. Going to freshen up a minute. And then we will be, or I will be, right back after this. I will see you shortly. Okay, hello. I am back. Shady's back, I guess. Anyway, hello. I'm back. All right. I almost brought this up with Hellboy, but when I saw the original Hellboy, I saw it in theaters, and I didn't know much about Hellboy, but I always used to joke that anytime I used to leave a comic book movie, then there'd always be someone like with their girlfriend, and they would just like make up a bunch of comic book stuff, like nonsense. And when I left Hellboy, I kept going like, well, that's nothing like issue 34. And I would just make up random shit. But then, like, the person I was looking, like, dude, people are, like, looking at us. Like, we are actually becoming the person who, because I was like, well, it's like, I thought it was, like, we thought it was really funny until, like, we were just being too loud about it. But it was, like, a joke. Because, like, I think when I saw the Ben Affleck Daredevil, like, I remember someone being like, well, Elektra's not even really in the comic that much. And I was like, the fuck? What? What? Elektra? Come on. The thing with Daredevil and Elektra is, like, you really have to build the Daredevil lore and all that before you get to Elektra. So it's like, anyway, you really should not do Elektra the first movie or whatever. I didn't watch that show. I heard it was good, but I watched Luke Cage for like a good or like the first section of it. That was good. Anyway, okay, so this is gonna be tomorrow. There's gonna be two things. One's a little musical short, and then this thing. It's gonna be quick. Nobody distract me with your fucking Shrek memes. Quiet the Shrek, so I can do this. We can do it quick. I don't have to edit it. I can just like make it a thing. With the one a few pictures, maybe I don't know. It's gonna be easy, but nobody make me laugh or distract me in any way. I'm gonna trade some of this. Don't quit, because I'm not gonna quit. Nobody do anything silly or grab my attention anyway, so I can focus on the time I almost saw American Pie. So. Since it has been 25 years, this is the segment, by the way. Since this week marks 25 years since the release of American Pie, I will tell the story of the time I almost saw American Pie. So it had been out for a little bit, and I was aware that a few of my friends, instead of seeing wanted to see Eyes Wide Shut and bought tickets for Muppets from Space, and then snuck in to Eyes Wide Shut. And so I thought, you know what? I really want to see American Pie. At that time, what I would typically do with movies, when I saw movies, because I was like 15, I think, my parents would let me see our stuff, but to not have to deal with me for the afternoon, I would give my mom the money. She would go up to the ticket counter and be like, here you go, son. Go in. Only once during Dogma did anyone have an issue with this. Because they, like, made a thing. They're like, no, but he's underage. Well, like, but she's like, but I'm his mom. I drove all the way out here. I don't care. And then they let it go. But anyway, now I want to cut this part out already. I fucked this up. So I'm determined. I'm like, I don't want to ask my parents to see American Pie. They'll be weird about it. So I'm going to go see... I'm going to buy a ticket to Austin Powers, The Spy Who Shagged Me, and I'll sneak into American Pie. They started around the same time. I had this all figured out. So I go in, and I still have the ticket stub, which will be on camera during the thing. So now I'm going to have to do edits anyway. So I'm like, I'm going to get this ticket. I get it, and the lady at the ticket counter kind of looks at me weird, which I was like, well, this lady's weird, whatever. I get my ticket. I go in. I kind of scope out, like, what theater, is what and all this stuff. Which theater has what movie and stuff. And then, I use the bathroom. I'm a little nervous. I've never snuck into a movie before. I'm all, like, nervous. I'm seeing this R-rated movie. Even though, like, I'm allowed to see it, but, like, I just don't want to ask an adult because I'm embarrassed. And so... I'm about to, I'm sort of sitting this out, and then at the time I see a poster for Tim Burton's Sleepy Hollow. Now, I didn't know that there's going to be a new Tim Burton movie that fall. So I was like, oh, cool. I want to look at this poster. I want to look at this Sleepy Hollow poster. And I go, oh my God, directed by Tim Burton. And I'm looking at, oh, look at, I've heard this Emmanuel Lubezki guy's cool. Oh, I don't hate Johnny Depp yet. Christina Ricci. I was like reading this. I was like getting excited just reading this. I was like, this is so cool. And then the lady from the ticket counter comes out of nowhere and starts shouting, I'm sneaking into an R-rated movie. Like, he's not supposed to be in there. All this stuff, like, starts, like, yelling. And I just, like, bolt. And by the way, I was not going in there. I was literally standing in front of this poster. But the problem is, the poster was right in front of the theater for American Pie. So I was like, okay, she definitely is on to what I was planning on doing. I had a definite, like, got really nervous and scared and actually ran into Austin Powers 2. So this is really the story of how I saw Austin Powers 2 a second time and looked nervous towards the back almost the entire movie. I thought because I was so scared I'd get, like, banned or something. Even though I didn't do anything. I literally saw the movie I bought a ticket for. But I was like, oh, but she caught me. And then I sadly walked home. And I think my parents actually found out somehow, because it was our local theater. And we were not happy that I tried to do that. And it was just overall depression over even attempting to see American Pie. But anyway, I did actually see it on VHS when it came out around Christmas. And that movie fucking sucked. It is a bad movie. I don't care that everyone my age says, oh, it like defined our generation. It didn't. If you think it did, you've got bigger issues. That movie is horrible. I hate all of them, and it stinks. And it wasn't because I got caught. It was because that movie sucks. I don't care. I was so hyped for that movie. It's not good. It's not good. American Pie sucks. It is a bad movie. R.I.P. to General Cinemas, Towson Commons. You were just sort of there, and I was okay with that, but I have nostalgia for you. Even though that one weird lady had to make an issue out of it, I guess because Columbine happened and everyone was being weird about it. She could have just been chill and let me see American Pie. And now I hate American Pie, and look at me now. What would my life have been like? What would my life have been like if I'd seen American Pie? I guess we'll never know. Willow from Buffy was in it, but that doesn't mean it's good. That joke is not funny. See, here's the thing that didn't work for me about that whole gross out period. The gross out period starts in like 90, like it's like basically like the Farrelly brothers were around, but the real period hits with There's Something About Mary. My John Waters obsession started a year before. So like if I'm like 13, you know, and like I'm seeing Pink Flamingos and Desperate Living and like Polyester and like all these John Waters movies, and then people are like, oh, have you seen this crazy gross out movie, and it's like a guy having sex with a pie or something. I'm sorry, but Pink Flamingos is way crazier. And so to me it like both felt tame and stupid, and like all those movies that aren't Freddy Got Fingered felt the same way to me. So I really didn't like that whole period, because I sort of like outdid it before, and that's not to me like I'm so much better. It was just like I like everyone else I know who's into it saw the John Waters movies after, and I guess I sort of made the mistake of seeing them way too young. No one could stop me, and so it sort of like ruined that whole thing. And then I'd say like, oh well, you should watch, like, you know, this doesn't have a singing asshole in it. It just has like a guy who has sex with a pie. Like, that's stupid. But like, if it doesn't have divine eating dog shit. It's like just has some dumb sex jokes, you know. American Pie is just like late 90s Porky's, and it's really not any that much better than that. Anyway, let's yeah. Sorry. I hope that segment was worth it. I don't know if I want to... Should that be a separate video? I don't know. We'll see. We'll see. Austin is here. Hello, Austin. How's it going? All right. So now let's talk about what I missed. Oh, you missed my amazing American Pie segment. I don't know if that was worth it. Oh, well. Sorry my voice is funky. But, hey, we did it. it was a story about how I almost saw it. I did see Eyes Wide Shut, and a lot more than I can explain. Thanks, Cornbread. It is funny. No one brings up with American Pie is it basically like took the wings out of. Bro, you are not selling me on John Waters right now. What? Come on. Um, it did definitely take the wind out of Eyes Wide Shut because it was like like I do think it's actually similar to what happened with Ghostbusters and what was that movie? The Mom's movie Mila Kunis was in, and it's like if you have two movies that have a similar subject matter and one's like silly and frivolous and the other has like all this like heft and weight and like what did you think, what's your opinion, and the other one's like you can just watch or whatever, the one that's like you can just watch or whatever always does better. It's like what was that movie with was it Mila Kunis and they're like moms or something? Anyway, like that did way better than the Ghostbusters movie because it was like fun and you're like, oh, people are gonna get mad and it's like the women, it's like a whole thing. And like same thing with the American Pie. Anyway, whatever. So I saw the pilot for the Adult Swim show, which I believe has been picked up, called "Oh My God, Bad Moms." Thank you. Sorry. I imagine when Sinram writes things in all caps, he's yelling at his screen. I don't know if that's true. Sorry to say that. I apologize for imagining it. I imagine he's like, "Bad moms, Jim. Jesus, come on." Bad mom. He doesn't talk like that, but that's my image. Apologies. Okay, so I'm going to talk about Oh My God, Yes. This is the pilot. Apparently, it has been picked up by Adult Swim. I think this is a cool kind of show about three quirky black. This is actually the log line, basically. Three quirky black chicks. Three quirky black chicks navigate the world of sex and dating in LA in the 30th century. Sort of about one other drink. I forgot where'd my water bottle go. Oh, you're over there. Sorry. I had a really bad when I was shooting the TV Glow thing, and I mentioned episode guides. I couldn't find my Mystery Science Theater episode guide. Like I couldn't see it for some reason. I was looking in the wrong place, and there's just footage of me for like a minute flipping out, and then I find it. Anyway, sorry. Cheers to everyone. It's about one of the girls who is dating sort of like this robot who needs an upgrade, and her and the robot sort of break up because she like uses this weird digital thing that makes her a taco out of a cow human, and then it gives her bad diarrhea and she poops in his recharge station that looks like, to be fair, it looks like a toilet. I think the thing that is really cool about this show is it has that kind of sci-fi whimsy that something like Futurama would have or something like Rick and Morty would have. But I do think, and maybe I'm talking out of turn possibly, but I do think most of those you expect for like white characters or something like that. You expect like Rick or, or mostly like white male kind of thing. And, that's fine. But this is like three, as it says in the logline thing, three quirky black chicks who are dating, who want to get messed up, who are like single and silly and like going live on Instagram. I think it's Instagram thing, or they're going live on something because that's part of the show. And they're kind of different characters than you'd expect for something like that because it is a lot of sci-fi whimsy. They're dating robots, like things like that, and I actually like the marriage of the two things because I haven't seen that before, and it felt like kind of like, yes, I've seen like sci-fi whimsy, silly kind of quirky sci-fi stuff like this, but not with these kind of protagonists, and it felt like different in kind of a fun way. It felt like sort of a messy show. They felt like messy characters, but it's like by design that they're that way. I don't, but it did, it was like a lot of fun, and I'm actually excited to watch. Like, this is a good show to just like chill out with, and I did like that. I hope it gets like some more traction, and it did feel like actually Adult Swim's trying to get like a different audience, but still be Adult Swim in a way, which I thought actually was kind of cool, to be honest. Like I don't know, this would work really well next to Smiling Friends and what they have going on now, but in a very like sort of natural way, but a natural way of getting a new audience, which I thought was really cool. So I actually really like the Oh My God Yes pilot so far. I think it is a show that has a lot of potential. Um, I I like the main girl in this. I forget her name, but I wanted to follow her. I was interested in her. I liked how they have weird sci-fi stuff pop out of nowhere that felt like very free in a like fun animation way. But this is a cool show. I'm excited to see more from this. I'm excited to talk about it more. As it goes on. But it'd be curious, like, if we just had a bunch of episodes like this, I would be fine with it. But we'll see how it progresses and, like, are the robot guys coming back and stuff like that. But we'll see what happens in the future. But as of this pilot right now, I think it is a really solid pilot and makes me want to see more, which I think, if you're going to make a pilot, you might as well make one that makes me want to see the next episode. And this one definitely did that. All right, I'm going to do questions. Show's almost over after this, so if anybody has anything, now is the time. Questions below. I'll do the Patreon questions. First, we have two, and here we go. Nathaniel Foga. I actually had a weird thing where Patreon, when I clicked on the thing, it actually sent me to a movie crap from like 2020 and someone asking me about Suburban Nights, and I was so lost on what was how like I didn't click on a 2020 anyway. Patreon was being weird. Where are we going? Okay. Nathaniel Focus says, what's a property from Disney you're surprised hasn't been revived yet? Well, first off, I would say Sky High, but I'm assuming you do not want me to say that. So I'll actually say one I'm surprised they haven't done anything with, and I think isn't on Disney Plus. Is that like Captain Falcon or what's that? The Falcon thing they did. Is it Falcon? They did that. Was it like Captain Falcon or something? It was like their superhero thing. Captain Falcon Disney? Is it Captain Falcon? No, Falcon on my shoulder. I don't even remember. Now, because of Falcon, it's going to mess it up. Is it Red Falcon? Anyway, it was like one of the things that was like... I can't remember what it was called. Like, I didn't even see it, though. Okay, I'm surprised they haven't done Flight of the Navigator. That's something... I'm surprised they haven't done more of that. I can't remember who this guy is because I've actually never seen it. Is it Captain Falcon? That's Nintendo. It's like some guy. It's like a red... And they reference it in the small size Pixar short. Anyway. Let's just say Flight of the Navigator. Because I'm surprised they haven't done anything with that. All right, Austin says, hey, Jim, what a great show with so many great Patreon questions asked before this one. My question... oh, my God. My voice is not holding up to this. I hope it doesn't sound too horrible. My question, I recently watched The Dirty Dozen and wanted to know what your favorite member of The Dirty Dozen is. Got to be Donald Sutherland as Pinkley. It's been a little bit since I watched it. If you got the DVD, they have a cool thing, like a behind the scenes thing, and go, what do action guys do and stuff. I mean, I guess it'd be between Lee Marvin, Cassavetes, Jim Brown. Yeah, it'd be one of those guys. Maybe Jim Brown. Yeah. Anyway. Oh, you can ask the question. It's okay. I'm actually not that tired. It's just my voice sounds weird tonight. I don't know. Not plausible says, hi. It's cool you watch Dirty Dozen, Austin. That's awesome. Hi, not plausible. Hi, I'm from 97, and I can't believe that Shrek got 4 sequels. Wow, is Chris Farley still playing? Night. They should use that audio in Shrek 5. Why not? Cornbread. Question. With Inside Out slash Despicable Me being some of the few big hits in 2024, likely repeated in 2026 with Shrek slash Toy Story, do you think TAG has... Oh, the Animation Guild has some leverage to pressure studios to avoid a strike? I hope they do, but it doesn't feel great right now. So we'll see, I guess. I don't, I sort of am pessimistic about how the studios feel about that. So, um, no, I'm okay. It's just my voice is, I don't know what's going on. Sinram, how many movies have we seen after buying one ticket? My record is 4. I've definitely done 2. Usually after 2, I'm sort of like, well, it's also like I try to have to remember them because I'm like, well, I'm gonna do a review of both of them, and I feel like I've done 3, but I can't think of. It's typically 2. I know I did like. I've definitely seen like multiple in a day. Like I think I did. I know I've done like. I used to do it more, and I haven't done it in a while. The last time might have been The Commuter and what was it? Taraji P. Henson, Proud Mary. It was like Proud Mary and The Commuter might have been the last time I did that. I did a few times, like I did Fury and Book of Life. I know I did Despicable Me 2 and Lone Ranger. I'm trying to think of the ones I've done before. I know I did whatever was it? Yeah, I said Taken 2 and Frank and Weenie. I think. I don't know if I've done 3, but I've definitely not done 4. But yeah. The Wessonator, but yeah, I usually do 2. I don't think I made it to that was the old Court Street. I feel like it's harder now, and I also have like Regal Unlimited. So like once I had the unlimited plan things, it was like there's sometimes I'm like I'll just get the ticket so the movie can make some money. I don't care. It doesn't, but it's sometimes like, well, I'm already here, and I think I've only done 2. I don't know if I've done 3, but I feel like I've probably seen like 3. I've definitely seen like 3 movies. And no, I did. Oh, I know what I did. I did. Um, what's it? That DreamWorks movie, The Guardians, where it's like the Easter Bunny or whatever. Then I did Red Dawn, and then I left and came back and did Life of Pi. So I think that, but that's not on one ticket. So that's what are your 4? What were the 4, Cinram? I want to know that too. Sorry, I'm asking Cinram too many things. The Wessonator. When you review a movie you've seen before, do you always rewatch it right beforehand, or do you sometimes just go from memory? Well, technically, I guess either way you're going from memory, but no, if I'm reviewing something, I will rewatch it. I feel like you should rewatch it. I always, if I'm doing a review of something, I watched it fairly recently, depending on when I can shoot and stuff like that, and that kind of gets a little wild, but. If I'm doing like a tier list, some of them I've seen within the past year or something. But if I'm doing like a full review that takes the time, I definitely want to watch it again before I. Even if we watched it a bunch of times, I'm like, no, I want to sit down and really take it in. I don't know. It's just how I feel about it. Super Dusky, are you gonna get your kids to watch on Wires Digital Chain? I mean. They've only seen Hairspray the musical. I wouldn't mind them seeing Hairspray or Crybaby, but the rest is like that was a thing I chose to do. So I don't know. Not plausible. I actually watched the DC fireworks show as opposed to Macy's fireworks. Those are usually on PBS, so not so much in terms of quirky ads. Oh, okay. I mean, I know people watch those too. I guess those are considered the smarter ones or whatever. I don't know. Question, in length, how long was this stream in Mona Lisas? I guess it was 20 Mona Lisas, maybe? I don't know. You ever get bootleg toys as a kid? Oh, yeah. A lot of... Condor Man, that's it. Thank you, K-Master. Bootleg... Yeah, oh, yeah. A bunch of those Power Ranger rip-off ones you get at the dollar store. I don't think there's anything wrong with them. They're, like, cheaper, and some of them can last for a while if you do it right. Dylan Butler, can you do a film focus on Ray Harryhausen because of Ken Kong? Oh, deep focus, I guess. I'm not. I don't know if I'll do another deep focus or something, but I do like Ray Harryhausen. I should review more of his stuff, to be perfectly honest. How do we stop the epidemic of Lightyear toys in clearance aisles? I guess throw them out or buy them. Nathaniel Fogel, what songs would you like in the Shrek 5 soundtrack? I mean, they already have the All-Star thing in the poster. I guess All-Star... I think maybe Sugar Ray should get the Smash Mouth thing, but we'll see. Oh, Cornbread's record is 4-2. Oh, March 20... Oh, wow. Oh, damn. That's a good lineup. 20... March 2002, he saw In the Bedroom, Iris, Gosford Park, and Monsters Ball. That... Okay. See, all mine were, like, dumb things and then maybe a good thing. That is a... Shit. That's a lineup, Sinram. I'm sorry. Never mind. Your movie game, that's a I can't disagree with that. Anyway, I have drank too much water and other things. It's time to go. I want to thank Austin for the super chat. I want to thank everyone for being here today. Thank you all very much for coming out tonight and showing me love and all that stuff. It was cool. I hope it was a good show. Sorry, my voice was a little funky tonight, but I appreciate everyone being here. And I guess we'll be back next week, although I'm not sure which day, if it's a Wednesday or a Thursday, but we'll see. But anyway, thank you all for being here. I think I'm not sure if I'm going to do the American Pie thing as a separate thing or not. I'm like half and half on that. But there'll at least be one thing tomorrow. We'll see if I'll do the American. If I do, you get to see the ticket stub because I still have it. I have a picture of it. So that'll be something, I guess. Anyway, have a good night, all of you. Thank you very much for your support. Thank you for everything. Thank you for all the Shrek memes. There were so many. A man for all Shreksons. That's a thing, right? Anyway, alright. I think I'm going to go. I'll see you guys later. Thank you for watching. Thank you for being here. And subscribe if you would like to. Have a good night, everybody.